Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, my name is Dr. Sam Osmanagich, and I'm delighted to share with you updates from the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids in Visoko, Bosnia-Herzegovina. Today I will be talking about the new scientific discipline called Archaeoastronomy. As we know, the Bosnian Pyramid project has become the most active archaeological site in the world. But besides archaeology, we have also scientific aspect, energy aspect, spiritual aspect, and healing aspect. Today, we will be talking about the astronomical aspects. Our sun, the major cosmic body, gives us light. It gives us warmth, but also it gives us information, knowledge. For the ancient people, the sun was considered a father. 4 major seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter, are featured through the major 4 days, which we called the summer solstice. That's the day when the summer starts. Usually it is June 21st. Why summer solstice? Solstice, the day when the sun stopped. Namely, on the horizon, as we know, during the winter, sun is very low on horizon. Spring gets higher. Summer, it's exactly above our heads, and it seems there is no way forward, and indeed, sun starts getting back on horizon during the fall and then winter again, summer solstice. The next important day is fall equinox. In Latin, equinox, the same length of the night as the day. The summer solstice, the daylight is 16 hours and the night only 8 hours. During the fall equinox, it's 12 hours daylight, night is 12 hours. They're equal. The same thing happens in spring. The winter solstice, it's the opposite. The daylight 8 hours only and the night is 16 hours. 4 seasons have major impact on people's lives. And that was the reason why the ancient builders were showing the movement of the sun in their structures. We don't do that today anymore, but the ancients were smart. The best example is probably the Kukulkan Pyramid. It is the Mayan city in eastern parts of Mexico, Yucatan Peninsula. During 2 days every year, about 25,000 people come to this site to witness an amazing event. Namely, sitting on the grass, looking at the northern triangular face of the pyramid. Duration is about 45 minutes. During the sunset, what can be seen on the stairways leading to the top of the Mayan pyramid of Kukulkan, we can see the play of the shadow and the light. Namely, we can see 7 triangles. They are showing the lights, 7 triangles, like they are climbing down the stairs, ending in the head of the serpent. Looks like the illusion is telling us the serpent is coming down to the Mayan city of Chichen Itza. It is visible only on those 2 days. How they were able to do it. They built four-sided pyramid, but the pyramid is not perfectly oriented to the cardinal points, so the sun rays can come to the stairways of the northern face of the pyramid. It happens during the spring equinox, March 21st, and the fall equinox, September 23rd. The second interesting phenomenon happens on sacred Egyptian soil. The Great Pyramid of Egypt has the perfect orientation of four sides to four cardinal points, east-west, north-south, meaning two sides are always in the dark. Well, during the equinox, at the sunset, we can see amazing thing on eastern slope of the Great Pyramid of Egypt. This triangular face is not perfectly straight. As a matter of fact, it is concave. So it goes a little bit inside. So the sun rays are coming to this face of the pyramid, and one half of the eastern slope are receiving some of the sun rays. It's a little bit lighter than the first half of this triangular face. So we can clearly see that there is a line dividing them exactly through the middle. Conclusion: this is not perfect equilateral triangle, but two smaller triangles. So during the equinox, spring and the fall, it becomes very clear that the builders of Great Pyramid of Egypt wanted to build not four-sided pyramid, but eight-sided pyramid. The next example will take us to the Canary Island, of the western edges of African continent. The biggest island is Tenerife. Here on Canary Islands, we have had at least 104 pyramids. The structure number one, the stepped design pyramid with four sides made from volcanic stones, tons and tons of shaped volcanic stones. What we can witness during the summer solstice at the sunset is also very interesting phenomenon. When you climb the pyramid from the western slope on the stairway, you can see the sun rising exactly in the middle of this terrace, meaning that this pyramid is oriented to the east, to the eastern sunrise during the summer solstice. Now we have to have in the mind that during the solstice the sun is not rising exactly on the east, but east-northeast. The next example. On the other side of African continent, there is a beautiful volcanic island of Mauritius. Mauritius is about 2,000 kilometers away from the African continent and 9,600 kilometers away from the Canary Islands. Mauritius has 7 stepped pyramids. They are built from volcanic rock. Also about 20,000 tons of shaped volcanic stones. This was the calculation I made when I was there. All these pyramids are sitting in the fields of the sugar cane. the sugarcane fields reach 4 meters in height. When you go through those sugarcane fields, climb one of the pyramids, you can see other 6 pyramidal structures. If you get lucky and climb the western slope during the summer solstice in Mauritius, then you will see the sun rising exactly in the middle of this top terrace. However, Mauritius is in southern hemisphere, if we believe that our planet is a globe. What does that mean? It means that the summer solstice is not in June, but in December. To be more exact, December 21st. And conclusion is that the ancients were oriented the pyramids for the winter or summer solstice. The next location, I'm taking you to the Nubian land, the southern part of Egypt, the edge and the border with northern Sudan. Famous Abu Simbel Complex. I don't call it a temple because we actually do not know what was the purpose of this complex. Egyptologists are saying temple. Temple meaning worshipping, temple meaning bringing the sacrifice to the gods. I disagree. So let's just name it the Abu Simbel temple. Complex. When you say Abu Simbel, what is the meaning of these words, of this name? Well, Abu Simbel was the name for a young Egyptian kid who, 130 years back, showed the French explorers the location of this complex. You don't know its real name. The Egyptologists are saying that one of the most popular pharaohs, the Ramesses II of the 19th dynasty, built this complex without a single proof. The only thing that we have belonging to Ramesses II are the cartouches. Cartouche was a symbol showing that the son of the god, in this case the pharaoh Ramesses II, was present there. It seems that he ordered his people to carve his name on all major Egyptian megalithic complexes, wanted to show them that he was the builder of all of them. My opinion is that this complex is much, much older than the age of the 19th dynasty, which is about 3,300 years. As we know, during the very important document called Turin King List, there were 3 phases in the history of Egypt. The third phase are the sons of gods. Started 5,100 years back, King Menem united Upper and Lower Egypt. And then we have dynasties, 0, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and others. But the phase before this was the phase of demigods or semi-gods. They would rule Egypt several hundred years each. And the first phase is the phase of gods who descended from the sky. Kingdom of the sky came upon kingdom of earth or our planet, and those gods were ruling Egypt at least 1,000 years in average each. 4 huge statues in front of the Abu Simbel complex probably show gods. You enter inside, you can see smaller, mid-sized statues. For me, demigods. And when you go to the last chamber on February 22nd and October 22nd, an interesting solar phenomenon. The sun rays are coming to the walls, showing this couple, not Ramesses II, like we are told, but most probably the statues of gods. The next location I'm taking you to is the famous Stonehenge, United Kingdom, southern England. Originally, we had 30 vertical megaliths, multi-ton megaliths, brought from Wales, 320 kilometers away, and 30 of them placing horizontally on top of the vertical, total of 60. Unfortunately, some of the megaliths have been destroyed completely or partially. Due to activities from 17th to 19th century of the landlord who at the time owned the Stonehenge. What they were doing, they were giving the hammers to tourists. So they were destroying those megaliths, taking small pieces of rock as a souvenir to their homes. But we still have enough megaliths to make some conclusions. One of them, of course, the Stonehenge is not a place to sacrifice the enemies. Number one purpose, Stonehenge is an energy machine. The second one, very important purpose, it's a calendar. It is an astronomical observatory. Now, during the summer solstice, during the sunrise, we can see the sun coming in full between two blocks, and actually on one line there is an alignment of what archaeologists wrongly named altar, heel, and slaughter stones. The island of Malta in the Mediterranean Sea is the place with hundreds of beautiful megalithic complexes. No explanation who, how, and why. Again, archaeologists, historians call them temples. We don't know if they were temple, but they were beautiful megalithic sites. On some of them, we can see clearly that during the equinox sunrise, the sun comes exactly in the middle of the gate, only on that date. And it goes exactly to the center of the court. So they always took care for the orientation of their megalithic sites. There is an amazing civilization, and we know so little about them. It's called Anasazi. Anasazi was a civilization who appeared almost from nowhere in the 10th century, and they disappeared 350 years later. They used to inhabit parts of 4 today's US states: New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, and Arizona. Probably the most impressive site is Chaco Canyon in New Mexico, with 13 villages. Half of them were used all year long, the other half only during the summertime. Of course, the most beautiful place is called Pueblo Bonito. In Spanish, beautiful village. And indeed, it's a beautiful village, or at least what we have today. Shaped like letter D, it used to have 700 apartments. They were using smaller plates, building 1 meter thick walls, up to 4 layers or 4 stories high. But what's interesting is the layout of their windows. They are not like ours, in the middle of the wall. But in the most cases, they are either all the way to the left or all the way to the right. Why? Because they were following the movement of the sun, and especially interesting are the layouts of the holes and the windows in their kivas. Now, kiva is an amazing, rounded, spherical chamber which was used for their spiritual ceremonies, initiation, astral projections. And one of them in the place called Casa Rinconada, House of Rinconada. We can see rounded hole, and during the fall equinox we can see the sun comes in full size in this hole. Every other day the sun is a little bit off to the left or to the right. The next location, again Mayan civilization, in the place called Tulum, also on Yucatan Peninsula. There is a beautiful structure with the gate in the middle. And again, only on a spring equinox day, the sun during the sunrise can be seen completely in this gate. Every other day, the sun is off a little bit to the left or to the right. In 2001, archaeologists from Macedonia named Mr. Stankovsky, Jovica Stankovsky, discovered an amazing astronomical observatory, which is today known as Kokino Observatory in the northern part of the country. Even though archaeological establishment was against him, claiming there was no way that 5,000 years back there was an astronomical observatory in their country, Mr. Jovica was very persistent, and finally he got approval of the astronomers from Greece that he was right. The top of the volcanic hill is having a lot of smaller tops, and it seems that some of them have been carved, and in those holes, in those spaces between different sticks, we can follow the sun during the major dates in the year: spring and fall equinox, summer and winter solstice, during the sunrise and the sunset. But also we can follow the movement of the moon during the 4 lunar phases, and we can even follow the movement of the sun star constellations. In US state of Ohio, there are 42,000 registered mounds. Mounds are artificial soil structures. In this particular state, the best known mound is of course Ohio Serpent Mound. Namely, we can see from the air the shape of the snake. It starts with the beautiful regular spiral, then the body of the snake with curvature, and then with the head, open mouth, trying to swallow either the egg or some of the cosmic bodies. Well, when we drew the line exactly through the central part of the head, the direction that we get is direction of the sunrise during the summer solstice. And when we follow the body, when we draw the line exactly through the middle of this curvature we are getting directions of the all other major solar positions: solstice, equinox, spring, summer, fall, winter, sunrise and sunset. Plus, we are getting some of the positions major for our moon and even for some star constellations. What does that mean? It means that the builders of the Ohio Serpent Mound, like the builders all around our planet, were following the movement of our sun, the major, the most important cosmic body, and of our moon. Those two cosmic objects determine the terms of life on our planet. They are so important. So once we are watching those major ancient megalithic and pyramid sites, we can determine the position of our planet. And finally, in Japan, in prefect of Nagoya, near the town of Gifu, there is a megalith called Kanayama Megalith. It's a multi-ton megalith. It seems that the top sides have been flattened. And when you look from one position and one position only, and you watch the movement of the sun during the summer solstice, June 21st, the sun is exactly in the middle of this megalith. And then during the summertime, the middle of summer, in August, the sun moves during the line, and now it's still on the line of the megalith, the fall equinox. The sun starts coming around on the other side. So on this line we can watch the movement of the sun at the same time in the morning. So now we can see that the ancients were showing a lot of gratitude to our planet being among major cosmic bodies. And now we are coming to the major discovery here at the Bosnian Pyramid site. If we want to name a location an astronomical observatory, it has to fulfill certain criteria. Two major criteria are: first, you watch the movement of the major cosmic bodies, sun, then moon, and then some of the major star constellations. And two, you always watch those astronomical movements from one particular spot. You don't move to different locations, always from one location. So, during the experiments that we've been making over the years, we've always been using the very top of the key structure in the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids, and that would be the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. This is the highest pyramid on the planet, around 360 meters in height. Secondly, this is the oldest pyramid on the planet. According to the organic material that we discovered between the concrete layer, fossilized leaves, their age is 29,200 years plus minus 400 years, or calibrated date, according to the astrophysicist Dr. Paula Violette, around 33,600 years. So it's almost 34,000 years old. So when we watch the movement of the shadow during the major dates, this is what we've concluded. Number one, the summer solstice, June 21st. We observe the shadow of the Sun Pyramid. Of course, the shadow is triangular in the shape, like the shape of the pyramid. The sun moves on the horizon, the shadow moves in the valley of the pyramids. Just before the sunset, the shadow comes to the southern side of the western slope of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. And it forms, because of its triangular shape, another pyramid. And the height of this newly formed pyramid is exactly the same like the height of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon, and the shadow touches the bottom of the Moon Pyramid. Or to be more precise, it touches southwestern edge of the Moon Pyramid. Genius. The next, we're going to use the mid of summer, the mid of August, mid to August 21st, 22nd. We are still watching the shadow of the Sun Pyramid. Since the sun is a little bit lower on the horizon, the movement of the shadow is a little bit different. In the afternoon, we can see the shadow approaching the western slope of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon, and exactly at the sunset, the shadow covers completely the western side of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon and the northern face of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon, and the top of the shadow touches the top of the Moon Pyramid. In a symbolical way, the message from the ancient builders is: the rule of the day and the sun is over, and the rule of the night and the moon starts. And now let's continue. The summer is over. The fall, autumn starts. September 23rd is the day of fall equinox. The sun movement on the horizon is even lower, so the shadow again moves a little bit different. It still goes towards the western slope of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, but because the day lasts less than before, the sunset comes earlier. The shadow is approaching the pyramid, this time from the northern side. And at the sunset, the shadow forms this triangular shape or the pyramid to the left or to the north from the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. The height of the shadow exactly like the height of the Moon Pyramid, and the bottom of the shadow touches the edge of northwest corner. What is the message from the ancient builders? At the summer solstice, the shadow is to the south, meaning it announces the warm, hot summer weather. Fall equinox, the shadow is located to the north, telling us that colder fall and winter days are coming. How they were able to determine the location of the moon pyramid in order to get this amazing astronomical phenomenon? Two possible options. First, they built the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun first, and then they were observing the movement of the shadow during different major days. And this is how they determined the location where they're going to build the moon pyramid, and the height of the pyramid was determined based on the height of the shadow. The second option is more probable, since these were very advanced builders, advanced civilization that we know almost nothing about. They made all the necessary calculation between starting building this complex. This complex, as we know from our research, represents energy machines, and this energy can be used for the communication, health improvement, improvement of the molecular structure of the water and the food, our auric field, bioenergy fields, chakras, our spiritual abilities, immunity, and so on. So these are some of very major discoveries that we have proven over the last 15 years. But now we are coming to another one. Since we have been observing all these phenomena from the very top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, and we've been watching the movement of the sun's shadow, we can conclude that the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun represents the oldest astronomical observatory on the planet. And not only that, the relationship between the Sun and the Moon Pyramid in Bosnia is very obvious. I dare to say, after researching thousands of pyramids from China, Indonesia, Cambodia, Australia, Mauritius, Sudan, Egypt, Canary Island, Greece, Spain, Italy, Peru, Bolivia, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Belize, Mexico, and the US, that only in Bosnia we have such an obvious astronomical relationship between two major pyramids. But now let's bring to the play another pyramid. In Bosnia we have 6 of them. Pyramids of the Sun and the Moon and the Dragon and the Love, Temple of Mother Earth, and the 6th pyramid. Well, the Love pyramid is next to the Sun pyramid. Unlike all other pyramids, this one does not have perfect alignment with the cardinal points, east, west, north, south, but it's been moved for 60 degrees. Why? One of the reasons, because of the shadow. We can see that during the fall equinox, the shadow of the Love pyramid is getting closer to the western slope of the Moon pyramid, climbing the pyramid, and just before the sunset, the shadow completely covers the Moon pyramid. Amazing. We can check several photos that will show us the movement of both shadows, the Sun and the Love, playing with the western slope of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. Afternoon, and then evening, and the sunset. And we can even see it much better during this time lapse that we made during the fall equinox in September of 2020. this discovery is telling us that the ancient builders much more appreciated astronomy, physical planning, architecture, ecology, healing aspect. For them, construction was a major job that will determine the life of the community. For us in 21st century, in most of the cases, construction companies are looking for available piece of land to build their residential or business structures and to make as much as they can. This is the difference between us and them in the past. Lot to learn from the ancients. Thank you very much.